Hi there, this is Danny Flexen with the latest edition of SecondsOut ReFLEXions. Bit of a different backdrop this week. We're here every Monday at 4:30 p.m. to review recent boxing action. We've just been at a press conference in London. You'll see some of the content around that going up probably before you even see this. But what we're here for with ReFLEXions is to look back on Friday night's show, part 2 of Fight Camp in the Matchroom HQ back garden. And the main event saw a historic occurrence in the first female all-British world title fight to take place, and it featured TERRI Harper defending her WBC super featherweight title against Natasha Jonas, and a very, very gripping fight it was. Jonas produced a performance of her professional career, a bit of a throwback to the amateur days. She was very poised and sharp, her movement was good, and she lasted the course pretty well despite pre-fight doubts from the Harper camp about Jonas's fitness. On the flip side, TERRI Harper had to really fight her way back into it after a shaky start in which Jonas seemed to dominate proceedings with the sharper shots, particularly some hooked counters to the body and to the head. By the end, even though Harper was tiring, she seemed to really will herself back into things and had the better of the last few rounds. I scored it 6-4 in rounds, 96-94, to Natasha Jonas, and felt we should have seen a new world champion crowned, but it was close enough that the draw verdict that actually occurred couldn't be considered anything like a robbery. We just hope it happens again, not only for history-making purposes, but because it was a really entertaining fight to watch regardless of gender. It was one of the best fights of this year so far, and certainly stands up there with Sam Eggington and Ted Cheeseman going to war on the previous week. So yeah, it felt a little bit for Natasha Jonas, having been written off by a lot of people before and then producing that level of performance, but hopefully she'll get a second chance, and if she produces a similar performance, maybe Harper will improve. She's obviously the younger, less experienced fighter, even though she's the champion, and she might improve from having had those rounds in against someone who really tested her. So expect to see an improved TERRI Harper in the rematch if indeed one does occur. We also saw Anthony Fowler produce a really smooth, controlled performance. Not always things we use when we describe Anthony Fowler. Against Adam Harper. Adam Harper hadn't fought for a couple of years, seemed a bit rusty, but gave it his best shot. Real tough guy, hung in there long after he should have. I thought Ian John Lewis, the referee, should have pulled him out a lot earlier. There was a point towards the end of one of the rounds where he was seriously rocked, and it looked like it would have been a perfect time to jump in. It was only ever going to be one winner. Harper didn't have the punch to really turn things around, and he begged his corner team to be allowed to carry on, which he was, and I think they need to take some responsibility as well for letting him go on a bit too long. The fighter is always going to say they're okay and they can go on and you know, they're not going to get hurt, but the fighter's not the one in the best position or able to exercise the detachment needed to make that level of decision. So I think the corner probably should have pulled him out at that point. But from Fowler's side, now boxing of course under Shane McGuigan, he was measured, his jab was excellent, very, very strong, and he produced some nice counters, got in and out, didn't get hit too much, and just an impressive performance for him. And another impressive performance from the Shane McGuigan stable came from Commonwealth Cruiserweight champion Chris Billam-Smith. He was defending the title for the first time against Welshman Nathan Thorley. Unbeaten, but fought mostly as a pro, as a light heavyweight, not a cruiserweight. I think the size difference showed when they were in the ring. And Thorley looked a bit kind of deer in the headlights early on. Didn't really, wanted some time maybe to adjust, and Billam-Smith was busy, but still intelligent, but a busy fighter, and didn't really give Thorley, smartly as it turned out, any time to settle. And although Billam-Smith got buzzed a little bit by a right hand in the second round, he quickly reasserted control and walked Thorley onto a beautiful right hand counter that ended the night of the brave Welshman very early on. I predicted last week that this would be the fight of the night. Well, I was wrong, but that's purely due to the excellence of Chris Billam-Smith. So an enjoyable show overall with an excellent main event, pretty much like the first week of Fight Camp, in that it wasn't the most amazing show you'll ever see, and we've still seen no outsiders score a victory at Fight Camp. The pre-fight favourites are now 8-0-1, counting the draw, but maybe next week, we'll talk about this more on Thursday in Flexpectations, but maybe next week the likes of Shannon Courtney and Zelfa Barrett could be under threat of upsets. Now I want to know what you guys thought of the show on Friday night. What did you make of the main event? Who did you think should have won? Did you rate it as a spectacle? And what did you make of the performances under Shane McGuigan of Chris Billam-Smith and Anthony Fowler? Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll respond to some of them. I'll be back with Flexpectations on Thursday at 4:30 p.m. Looking ahead to both Fight Camp number 3 and the big Queensbury Promotions show, topped by Cole Frampton against short notice opponent Darren Trainer. And I will be back with the next ReFLEXions, looking back on those two shows, of course, on Monday at 4:30 p.m. As always, really appreciate your time. Hope you like the new backdrop. It's not going to be like this every week, of course, but I hope you like it for today. And I'll see you all soon. Cheers.